Hey, everybody. It's Thursday night. It's 8 o'clock. It is a Fat Thor podcast. I'm your host, Andy Gunnin.
And I am Rick Wayne. You can see right there in the corner. Nickelbag Rick. Rocking some Nickelbag weed wear tonight.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. It's our first show of 2021. Excited to get the new year kicked off like a lot of us. But we got to get to business first.
It's been eventful so far.
It's been very eventful so far. But, hey, let's get to our sponsors first. Rick, kick us off with our sponsor.
One of my favorite sponsors on the Fat Thor is the CBD Joint, Earth's Natural Remedy. I love this place. They're over in Marietta off Church Street. It's at 801 Church Street, Marietta, Georgia. It's run by a wonderful woman named Roz. I've been down there. I've hung out. I've seen the place. It's amazing. They have everything from CBD coffee to gummies to the flower to lotions to elixirs. You name it. They have it all. Very reasonably priced. Go see Roz over at the CBD Joint, 801 Church Street, Marietta, Georgia. Or you can check them out on the web at www.thecbdjointcollective.com.
That's right. Good job, Rip. Damn, that was good. You've been practicing that, man.
I get excited. What can I say?
No, that was perfect. I wish we were recording it. Man, we are. I have to lay that down. Anyways,
I can do it again. Don't worry.
And don't forget Venture Roofing. They have signed on to keep sponsoring for the next few months. We love those guys. Hey, if you need a roof and storm season's coming up, it's raining. If you got a roof leak, anything, or you're thinking about getting a new roof and you're in Georgia or the Atlanta metro area, give them a call. They got 0% financing for up to 18 months. Give them a call, 678-656-7482. Tell them you heard it here on the Fat Thor podcast or on All About the Laughs on Power 108.9. They will take care of you. And they might actually give you these coupons, too. They were giving them away through December. I need to double back and ask Jason if he's going to honor those through January. But tell him Andy said for this week he will. So and put him on the spot.
That's your story. You're sticking to it.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. He's a friend of mine, and we talked today. So, he won't care. He's good. I
think he mentioned it, right? I believe so.
Yeah, he mentioned it. We got it covered. But, hey, folks, we have got a great show to kick off 2021. I'm excited about this guest. He is a fellow comedian. He's been doing comedy as a lot of us when you can. But he also, during COVID, launched an amazing business that has really taken off.
Entrepreneur as well.
Entrepreneur, which I'm excited about because I'm an entrepreneur myself and in my background. So I have mad respect for anybody that, creates something out of nothing and goes with it. Again, let's bring him on. He is here in the back room. We're going to bring him on. He is goes by Average Joey on the stage. And he's all in his company. We'll talk about that in a minute. I want to let him introduce it. Welcome to the show, Joey. We appreciate you coming on, brother.
You're having me, man. Thanks for having me.
No, bro. Hey, give everybody a little bit of background about where you came, not about the Mullet gang so far yet, but about comedy, how you got into comedy, and then kind of where it's transpired to now.
Gotcha. I'm kind of like I'm the dude that like people are like, well, he's only been doing it for this long, but he's all right, cool. Like he's a cool guy, so we're gonna give him a chance. So I've kind of worn my way in there. I actually only started. I did my first show 2 days ago. I did my first ever show. That would have been 1 year ago, 2 days ago. And thanks to Rick, obviously, in his room and everything like that. But I've been doing the internet comedy, Facebook and stuff like that for about, 3 years, 4 years, something like that. I'm generally a construction worker overall, just like anybody else, just trying to find a way out of their hardships and their self-demise and their self-destruction, and a creative way to keep things going. Comedy has definitely been a way I can do that. So I jumped right in there. I met Rick. I did my first open mic at his room a year and some change ago. Been going ever since, man.
Right. So
a rising star.
Rising star. So where were you doing construction wise? Were you just
man, anything. I primarily do wall covering, murals, stuff like that, fabric, stuff like that on the walls. But I do unfortunately like framing. And I say unfortunately, I love it. And there's framers that love their job. I'm not trying to downplay the blue collar man, but for me, it got to where a point, I did it so much. I was like, dude, done with this, on to the next thing. You find yourself doing different trades throughout the construction. Like I said, it was just generally wall covering, but a lot of different stuff: welding, drywall, painting, anything you think of, I guess, anything to make the money.
Yeah. Well, so what got you into comedy? So when did you want to take that leap or take that step? And
that had to be when I was a young man. I've always wanted to do it, never got the opportunity around me, the time permitted or anything like that until as of late. But before, like, I guess when I watched Eddie Murphy Delirious for the first time when I was a kid, my dad rented the VHS.
Right.
And we weren't supposed to watch it, and I snuck in there because we used to always sneak in and watch the rated R movies. They'd hide them under the couch, and like we didn't know it was under the couch, and we'd grab them. And then I put in Eddie Murphy Delirious, and I'd seen it. And for whatever reason, like from that day, I just was like, I want to do that. And I know that I'll never be that guy or anything like that. And I don't try in any case, but just to get up there on stage and to have a good laugh and to make somebody just be super enthralled by what you're saying is pretty fun in any case. So I do enjoy it. I like when people tell me that I should do it. You know what I mean? Before, like a lot of friends in the Army or friends before, like go to the parties and stuff and do the same thing that you do or Nick does or Rick does. I was about to say Nickelback Rick, but in any case, you know what it feels like to go somewhere and somebody's like, dude, you're freaking hilarious, man. Like, you should do stand up. And then I'm assuming it's the same for generally a lot of us. Where one day you just like, you know what? I think I will.
Right.
I think I'll do it.
Right, exactly. You know, and that was me. You know, my I would have done it a lot earlier had not I got married so young.
Me too, man. I wish.
You know, and
I always say though, do you think if you were younger and you got the opportunities that you're getting now, and this is directed to both of you guys, but do you think you would be as respectful to it? Do you think you would take it as serious as you do now that you're a little older? Because I think when I was younger, I don't know if I would have respected it or taken it as serious.
No, I definitely wouldn't have.
Respected, I would have respected it, but I was so driven in my 20s. I still am. It's a big part of me. I come from a background of sales in the building industry, selling building material my whole life. So you know how that is. It's a very cutthroat industry. It is, you know, and then you've got to get up and get after it every day or you're left in the dust. And I would have, and that's what I brought to the table. But if I'd have done it younger, and I've had this question asked by buddies of mine because I've only been doing it 2 years now. It's like, would you have wished you just started it in your 20s, and do you think you would be good or better in your 20s than now? And I said, you know what? Everything happens for a reason, and I have more life experience to talk about raising kids. I've got kids that are 22, 18, 19. I can cover an array of topics that a lot of young comedians can't, and tap into a group that people can't.
Yeah.
So I think it all happens for a reason. And I finally, you know, sitting there realizing my kids are teenagers. They don't want me anymore unless they need some money. And you know, go, well, damn it, I'm going to finally do this and see if I can actually hold my own.
Yeah.
And so here we are.
That's what it was for me too, as a test, the same as you just said. I think that is for a lot of people. I get a lot of, you know, and it's just self-proclamations of it, like as far as, and then you know, I'm just assuming. I don't even know why the hell I chose to say self-proclamation, but I just assume sometimes when I look at other comedians when I'm at a place and I'm the headliner or the feature or something like that, so brand new, or you know, and they're like, who is this dude? Like, and then they find out, well, you came from Facebook, and then, but I don't really look at it like I came from Facebook. Only the average person that does, like, because it's like anything. Like, so what you do, you said you sold, that's what you generally did for your job throughout. I sold building material. My dad did it. He started doing it in the 70s. You work at like Dodge Reports or someplace or something like that, or how'd you sell BPMs?
What's that? Sell what? Lumber?
Yeah, so just lumber is what you sold.
Lumber, windows, door trim, curved staircases, you know, anything that it took to build a $500,000 house, that was me. I was that guy selling it to the builder.
When somebody steps into your arena, right, as a salesman who knows when you started out brand new, you remember when you made the first call. You absolutely remember when you made your first call. You're probably so timid, but you went in with your full character, got you through that, though. Were you a good salesman or not? A lot of people fail right then and there. All right, when you're going through there and you're learning all the things and somebody new comes in, say they possess the same ability as you, but they haven't done it as long as you. Right. Now, the typical person, in any case, no matter what you're doing right there, I feel like even in the Army, like if you're going to a Ranger school or any school, like these, you got badge protectors is what we call them. And then you got people that aren't. Well, like if somebody was to let you play in their arena and then you get out there and show them something, then I always try to stick to those guys, the people that give me opportunities and chances.
Right.
But there's the bunch of them out there that are the hard-nosed salesmen that came up the hard way, and they're like, look, dude, you got to be chasing leads before you close these deals, or whatever. And then freaking, it's like this really thing. It's this esque thing. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know where you came from or your background. I always try to carry mine with me, though. Like I literally, you have to teach yourself how to be, I guess, somewhat political and learn your verbiage to not say things that are going to burn bridges at certain points. My material doesn't do that. My material, I just buckshot it online. I'm just like, whatever. Because it's mine in any case. And then if they don't like it, then they don't have to watch it, But if somebody pays for a ticket, I want to do the best I can. But I guess what I'm saying is if you possess the ability from life experiences, like what you were talking about, like when you went to the stage your first time, all the stuff that you'd already done as a younger person gave you the audacity and tenacity to be able to do that. It wasn't your ability. Your ability always was there. It's just your opportunity.
I really agree with everything you're saying. That's how I've always approached anything. Like if I started a job where, like you were saying before, comedy, or even when I got into music, if I started a job where I was still kind of unsure of the particulars of how things work, I seen an interview one time with Brad Pitt where he talked about how he would go if he was learning how to do a role to be like a newspaper salesman. He would go and like ghost a newspaper, shadow them or whatever, where they're always, and he said, I would just try to pick up mannerisms and how things worked and try to just mirror that person. And so I always looked at it like that. Like, I'm just going to try to be a sponge and learn as much as I can about this industry to be successful in it and do well. And when I got into music, I did the same thing. And then when I got into comedy, I just used those same sort of ideas that I'm just going to look around and see what I'm dealing with and try to sponge it up as much as I can and just keep writing my stuff and approach it that way.
Right. And you're right. And, comedy is one of those things. And I have run into a lot of young guys that are like, 21, 19, 18. They come in, they're funny. And they're like, all right, when do I start getting paid? I'm like, dude, that's on you, bro. That's on you, bro. Let me tell you something. I was sitting back, at the Laughing Skull at an open mic, one of the last open mics right before it shut down. Literally, it was March, the beginning of March. I think it was the last one. And this kid came in. He said, yeah, I've only been doing, comedy for like a couple months. This is like my first time here. And I said, okay. And he turned to me and he looked at me and he goes, so when can I start making money in comedy? And I went, let me put it this way. That's up to you. That's between you, God, and whoever put you on a show. That number one. I can't tell you when or how you're going to make it, but there's 1,000 different ways to make money in comedy. And I'm not going to sit here and give you the blueprint, but I'm still figuring out too. But at the same time, he goes, well, when did you start getting paid? I go, well, it depends on what you call getting paid. Do you get paid to do a set? I said, within, a couple of months. I said, now getting paid regularly on, I get money in different avenues. Yeah. I was like, but I still got a job. I still got a sales job. And he was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, but the first thing, dude.
Gary Shandling was saying that he was buying a shirt one day and this kid said, hey, let me ask you a question. I've just started doing open mics and doing comedy, but you've been in comedy a long time. What's the shortcut? He goes, there's no shortcut. And he goes, well, how do you get to be where you are fast? And he goes, you don't.
You don't.
There's no shortcut.
And I told the kid, and I said, look, if you want to talk, I said, I'm trying to get my set together in my head and just make sure I'm right. I said, if you want to talk to me after I do my set. And I said, where are you at? And he told me. And so I said, I will wait and I'll talk to you outside. And he goes, okay. And he walked outside. I said, don't expect to make one dime of anything in any business like this. This is an entrepreneurial business. It's a sales business. If you want to sell something, you're selling yourself. You need to figure out how to sell it. Now, there's a way to make a couple of bucks and some money. You've got to figure that out. But you've got to understand, it's like when I start a sales job, when I start selling for anything, I don't expect to make money for the first 60, 90 days, period. if not
Yeah.
6 months. And I said, and unless you're ready to buckle down for that first 6 months to a year, and I said, comedy's even harder because you've got to be good and funny for people to be put on a show, even to be paid $20. You know, and that's it. And I said, it's a business first. Remember this, kid. It's a business first. You've got to be funny, but you got to have a product to sell. So you're standing here as a sales guy, but you got to have a product to sell. And that kind of gets us into what you got going on, because you got something going on, Joey, on the side that went crazy, right?
Yeah, dude. I got lucky with it, though. I got lucky with it, man. I got lucky, and it pays my bills now. You know, I make a pretty good off of Facebook or whatever. That's not me bragging. I put a lot of work in there. I rarely sleep. I don't like take any drugs or no crap. It's sacrifice in any case, self-sacrifice. But you put a lot of time into the social media platform, you can make money off of it. That's how I make my money. I can put up a shirt and be like, you know, this is the one I designed or whatever today. It's up on my website. And then like the one I did today, for instance, I'm not going to tell you how many of them I sold, but right away I sell them. Now that comes off of how you sell them.
Tell us how many you sold. It's not bragging. I mean, it's
well, you know, like so
what you do.
I sold 7 right away for for whatever $35 a piece, and where somebody would be like, well, the shirt only cost you X.
Yeah.
And the reason why the shirts only cost me so small is because I buy them in bulk. So I like a lot of my money is tied up in buying merch. Like I got boxes on the floor right now that you can't see that I just got in today. I'll get 10 more in this week, and all the shelves will be full. I just keep
and it won't just be shirts. It'll be hoodies. It'll be sweatpants. It'll be koozies.
Yeah,
right. Well, let's back up and tell everybody.
I know.
Let's tell everybody how this got started. It's Mullet Gang Clothing coming. Now, how did that come about? Did that come from your comedy? Did it come from what you were doing?
It kind of spun off the comedy because.
So how did that happen?
I was tossing a mullet around, actually growing the mullet, the haircut, for a while, because I'm the type of dude that, like, whenever I show up somewhere, I'm not gonna give my tell you put whatever's in my tombstone right now, but generally I'm the dude that's like, it's a little bit awkward. It's a little bit different. I'm covered in tattoos. Like, even if I didn't have a mullet, I'm assuming I'd be the same. But I was like toying around with the idea, because all the people that I like to have a mullet, John Daly, Joe Diffie, I wasn't the typical like, oh, this dude or that dude or this dude. I just went with those two, and I was like, I really like them, and I like John Daly's a wild son of a gun or whatever. So I was like, So I grew it, and I started growing it, messing around with my videos, and people started talking about it, and I just kept tagging up Mullet Gang on everything. And then people kept tagging Mullet Gang too, and then we're talking about the mullets. But I didn't start the mullet revolution. It kind of just started itself back because it's never left. But everybody's wearing these haircuts now. And then online, because I was doing the comedy and I had one, people were like, hey man, do you got shirts? Like, do you have merch? And I was like, nah. And then they're like, well, what are you going to, you need merch, you need shirts. And I was like, what are you going to do? And it came to me like that fast. Obviously I was like, Mullet Gang. Then I made my first shirt, a little crappy little shirt, and then sold it for like $20, and then took the $20 and went and bought 4 more shirts. It's like just the typical bull crap that comes with it. But started it right there, and then just sold it to my comedy fans, man, and just kept doing funny stuff. See, here's my biggest thing right here, that if we don't take one thing away from the whole podcast of what anybody says, it's a cliche statement, and it's a no-brainer. If you do anything like for money, I get it that somebody can bust in the comments or bust from the left and the right and be like, yeah, fuck that. Pardon my language. Screw that. I do, whatever for, like, I got to get that money. I got bills to pay, and they'll make it sound like that's the thing, and they'll kind of put an edge on it so it sounds cool and lustrous. But at the end of the day, if you do anything for money, you're not going to make a dime.
Exactly.
At all.
Yep, exactly.
Like, so if you're a salesman and you go in that day, I got to make this money today. No, you're not going to make it. There's an art to it, and you got to play the game. You have to play the process. But you have to know that that's your process too, because it's a salesman. You see tons of them come and go. It takes a real special person to stay a salesman for a long time, and or a construction worker, and or anything that to stick with it. I have a bit that I was writing based off of an encounter where I met a chick online, and she was really hot, and I just right away I started digging around on her profile, and I was like, this chick works at Subway. I was like, I'm not hooking up with a chick that works at Subway. Mm-hmm. And so I started digging more, and you find out that this chick is in her 6th year of college. She's totally rich. She's totally doesn't care. Her parents said she has to have a job to stay in their house, to stay driving the fancy car, stay with the budget. And she chose Subway because it's right by the house. And I'm not doing the bit right now. I'm just telling you the general basis of it. But she doesn't do it for the money. She's obviously on to the different things, and that's not what I'm saying. I don't even know what I was getting at there. I was thinking about it the date actually, because I do.
now you're writing the bit in your head.
Started going la la land there, man.
That's what we do as comics. All of a sudden we start talking. Now I'll do the same. With my
I was
wife.
like, wait a minute,
dude. I'll be knee deep in a conversation, and she'll go, You're writing a bit about what this in your head right now. I just start drifting.
Guilty as charged.
I'm like, oh damn it.
Basically, what I was saying before I started getting ADD is just if you do anything for money, like when the attrition of anything, what you do, like whatever you decide to do, there's attrition there. So like if you just say I want to be a welder, you go try, and then you're gonna find out if it's for you. You can say I want to go be a scuba diver, and you're gonna find out it's same as a comedian, same as anybody. You'll figure it out when you get there.
Just you gotta have a passion for it. You gotta have a passion for it. If you don't have a passion, people read that a mile away. If you're doing it just to do it for a paycheck, it comes off. And same way selling yourself on stage. When you sell the joke, when you sell the bit, if you're not 100% committed to what you're doing, it shows. It bleeds through. Just like selling. You're exactly right.
But I'm not a half-asser. That's my thing. I've never been a half-asser. Whatever project I'm taking on, be it being a regular, blue collar job to music to comedy, production, I'm never half-assing anything. I'm always either 100% in it or I'm not even going to mess around with it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm never happy. I'm never happy with myself or my performance. It's always like it can be better. It's got to be better. Yeah. And unless you have that drive every day. But what I like about your story, Joe, is that you started doing comedy, and then all of a sudden you had this thing, because a lot of people who start comedy go, "Oh, when can I start selling merch?" You're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And a lot of guys are like, "You got to be a headliner. You got 4 or 5 years." But what I like about your story is that the merch, the idea that everything came organically, through your comedy, and people go, "I want a shirt that says that."
Well, the part that I left out, the biggest part that I left out was that I quit the job doing construction for comedy. We had some shows lined out with Dustin and Rocky and stuff like that, and freaking a bunch of them got canceled, and we did the ones we could do or whatever. But I had a little money saved up for this instance, because I just had started doing open mic before that, not just but a few months before that, and got a couple shots to do like a show or whatever, and then Dustin was like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a shot to do this," and then I got to go with him. So I got lucky by the universe and the powers to be put in this on the same stage as the people that have worked really hard for, no doubt. But you understand timing, you'll understand it's all about timing in life, and sometimes people get different shots than you, and that's if I were to fail at any time, then I'm not doing it anymore. But for me, I've been looking for this shot for a long time. Even though I haven't been hitting open mics, I went to open mic night for God knows how long before I went up there. I had to get that push. You know what I'm saying? Like I just didn't know if it was for me. There
was times where every week I was calling you, going, "You coming down? Are you coming down?"
Yep.
And he would show up. There'd be some nights he would come down and just watch and not even go up. I'm like, "Go up, man! Come on."
Yeah, man.
Right. You don't know all your opportunities, and everybody gets a different set of opportunities.
They do. Everybody,
and you got to take what opportunities you're given and run with it wherever that road leads. And you've got to be open to that and not narrow-minded. I mean, there's a lot of communities we all know that have gotten chances and opportunities and become famous and make money that aren't that great.
Yeah.
But they had a chance or an opportunity and they took it and ran with it.
Yeah.
And they became better, and they became better, and they eventually figured it out. And you don't know what the road's going to take. It's like when I started comedy, it's like I always have a 5-year plan when I start any sales things. Like I'm going to do this, and so you got a point. And I kind of had that with comedy. And my wife looked at me when I started, because we had just got married when I started doing it, and she goes, "What are you going to do?" I was like, "I really don't know." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I really haven't failed at anything. I've been very successful in the sales in the building industry. I've got a good drive." I said, "I don't know." I said, "But," she goes, "Where would you like to take it?" I said, "If I end up in movies, I'd love it. If I end up in TV, I'd love it. If I'd end up on radio, I'd love it. If I ended up just doing a successful show, I'd love it. Or just being a successful club community." There's about 100 different things, but a top 10, that's it. I don't care where it takes me. As long as it takes me in those avenues, I'm happy with whatever I end up becoming good at or settle into or figure out.
Yeah, you're just all over doing it all. You're just there doing it. That's a good thing to like. The good thing to be is like life will shake you down and like a little sift sometimes. Some people make it through and some people don't. They different levels to it. In any case, for me, whenever I quit the job, I had to make the decision because I made a lot of money doing the construction, a lot of money, a whole lot of money. But it came with a lot of stress, right? Yeah. And so
the stress is through the roof. People don't understand the stress in the build industry. It is through the freaking roof.
It's far, man. And whenever I was like, well, I can quit my job and do the comedy, I'm going to get paid for the comedy because you get paid. It was like, you're only going to get paid a little bit for the shows. I was like, all right, but you can sell merch and stuff like that. Well, I need to print some shirt stuff. And I didn't know. I didn't have anything. I was going to put Joey on them or Average Joey or whatever. Well, whenever the job was gone and I'd quit, and then the COVID happened a week later, because that's when it happened. They were like, hey, they started shutting shows down like crazy. Right. And then I was like, all right, so what am I going to do? Well, I could either go back to work and let the fire die and just be like, well, and then tell that story later and be like, well, I just gave up on it because of COVID or whatever. I just said, fuck it, man. I only needed, pardon my language again, I only needed a couple of dollars to get by. But what's crazy about that is I won't get into this big, long life story or nothing, but my entire life shook me down to that moment, to that whole year of moving out here from Bremen and to Bremen and living like 2-3 months out with no power and learning how to get like where every dollar is going and understand. Because I used to just free spend everything. I made so much money, I just buy whatever I wanted. Yep. And then, but I knew what I wanted to do. But when it all shook down, I was like, well, I only need $300, $400, $500, $600, $800 to live. Well, I can make X if I do this. Well, if I sell, because at the time I only had a few thousand people. If I sell everybody a shirt, I'd make 12,000. Well, we're not going to sell everybody a shirt. If I sell 20% of people a shirt, I'd make, whatever to pay my bills. And then, so I started doing like that. And that was the logic. So it came with a little sacrifice. Like, you're not getting that money, the white picket fence, the fancy truck, all the cool shit. Your friends, when you go to eat, like, what do you do for a living? I'm not a fucking, again, I'm sorry, that's the third one. No, I'm not a doctor or a lawyer or nothing like that. You know what I mean? But I'm really cool with myself now. I used to not be okay with my existence, but now I am. And I recommend it to anybody, not just comedy. But like, if you want to do, like, you may be doing the wrong thing. And the whole time you've been living, you were supposed to be doing something else. And it's just the way comedy came to me, because I've always wanted to do it. And when it came, I was like, all right, what do I got to do this now? Quit your job. All right, quit your job. Sell the shirts, shirts. Got to keep the swag going. Got to keep the gas going, though.
And, that's the thing, too. A lot of people think because you're a comedian, and I'm always kind of weird about telling people, they go, what do you do? And it's like, I'm a stand-up comic. And they think that you just fuck off a lot, like, oh, you just fuck off and don't do anything, and it's like, you have no idea what it takes to even do what, and that's the thing, too. Like, you were talking about, Andy, or Joey was saying about he was worried right around COVID, like, is this going to be, I got to go back to work or what? Now, you've been like me. I think the three of us have been very fortunate during the pandemic in 2020 and have gotten gigs. A lot of people have not got, but you've been doing pretty well. You've gone on the road with several people starting probably right around May, I guess, April, May, June, something started opening up for you as well.
April was our, I think, our first one.
So where all have you been, tell everybody, throughout the pandemic?
Dude, it was a fast thing, dude. It was a fast thing. Every time I got to go to these places, I've been to like Zany's, Stand Up Live. I got to do improv the other day. I got a feature at improv with Donnie Baker in front of a big old crowd down there. That was fun. We did Side Splitters, done freaking Atlanta Comedy Theater twice, Mad Life Stages, Stardome, freaking up in Bristol. We did that big event place up there. Couple places in Alabama. You know what I mean?
Just Stress Factory up in Connecticut.
Stress Factory in Connecticut. I did the one in New Jersey and Connecticut up there.
Okay. See, so that's what I'm saying. So, a lot of touring comics ain't got your kind of action that you've got during 2020.
I got lucky. The material that I brought, though, I feel so garbage. The opportunities that I had, like, I was like, that's when I sat back and, because this is what I have. And that at any given day, if you're doing multiple shows with the same material, you're not going to deliver it the same exact every time. And when you're on your shit, you're on your shit. And if there's a crowd, there's a crowd. If there's not, they're not. But when you're on your shit, you're on it. And when you're not, you are not. And pray to God you don't have a big crowd. But just in case, if there is, this is what you brought to the stage. Well, that's when I always wished, man, I've been doing this 10 years. Because when you watch a younger comic that's been doing it 6 or 7, they peel it right off. You're like, damn it. That's where I want to be.
You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. Because I'll even be the first one to tell you the set I did at the Punchline Sunday night. I was off my game. Off my game, 100%, because I had not been doing as regularly as I have in the past. Before the pandemic, I was doing 2-3 open mics, if not 4 a week, plus 2 or 3 shows a weekend. When you're in that zone, you're in that zone. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could be having an off night and nobody know it.
You can start riffing, dude, off not even having material because you're in the zone.
Everybody knew. I knew. Yeah. And I ended up pulling together and got some laughs. And then luckily, Marcy at the Punchline goes, Andy, you're still funny. I go, thank God. I mean, I just needed her because I was just like wanting to stab forks in my eyeballs. Like, I'm better than this.
Golly, man.
I'm better than this.
I mean, but that's the whole thing. Like right now, I don't think anybody's expected to be 100%. We haven't had a lot of stages to work on. And yet again, we have been awfully lucky. The 3 of us have been awfully lucky through the last year. But
yeah, dude, so many people so unfortunate, man. God.
Yeah. And I think about we've talked about this before as some of the ones who just started out that was really trying to make some traction who have now been just washed away. And I don't know if they're going to come back. I don't know if you're going to see certain people that you used to see in the open mic circles.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's all about the grind, and it's all about how tough you are and how much you're willing, Joe, I mean, Joey, you kind of stumbled into this mullet game thing, and then it took off out from under you. Right at me.
It's the best thing that's ever happened to me other than stand-up comedy.
It literally happened at the pandemic.
Obvious, my children.
Right.
What'd you say?
But it happened at the start of the pandemic where it just grabbed the comedy stopped, but the mullet gang thing just took off.
It did. Right? It did, man. But I was fortunate enough to it wasn't just me making these moves. I was fortunate to keep the thing going myself, keep the flame burning, but bright enough for somebody else to see. And they actually invested with me and in me, and then got it going beyond, just all I had to do is just get up every day, make a new shirt, keep it selling it. Pardon me, keep selling. And they were going to keep driving with me. And that's kind of what it takes is it all takes a team. It's hard to do anything on your own. You know what I mean? Right. So there's somebody behind the scenes that pays for a lot of the stuff that I do. I just have to put in the time and the work. And that's basically
it's about putting in the work. It's about reinventing yourself in 2020. And that's,
that was the hard thing to do. And it just happened to happen in 2020 for me. I was already doing it. I got divorced 4 years ago, and it drove me right on in there. And that's why I think I did so good, and why so many people that are flourishing right now, they were already at a low point in their life or a change in their life. And this really didn't affect them that much, because what's happened with 2020 that everybody's talking about, this whole esque at the end, is just regular life. It's hardship in any case. It happens to a lot of people. And now it's this thing that we can talk about, but a lot of the people that were already living there, they're like, hey, y'all, welcome to the playing field. And then they're not alone. It gives you an opportunity. It gives you encouragement in any case. The opportunities come and go, but the encouragement, because when you're somebody that has done something, you have been encouraged, either whether it's self-motivation or whatever. But I love it when encouragement comes and it happens in the time of darkness. Like everybody else is down, and then you get this little bit of encouragement, and then you become a light, so to speak.
Right.
That's what I do with my gear. I give away half a lot of this stuff to people because I know that it would help them out. Go ahead. I know you want to say something. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I was just gonna tee off on what you were just saying there. It's
go ahead.
You gotta have that drive. But here's the thing. I used to live in panic, and what made me good, I wasn't a great salesman. I was mean and ferocious, meaning I got up every day in a panic. When I went to bed, I'd made whatever money I'd made that day in sales. When I woke up the next morning, we're back to zero. Today's a new day. I've got to do this, this, and this. Once I make this, then I can sit back and start having beers and effing off and doing my own thing. It's having a structure and a drive. And the same thing with comedy, same thing with business, same thing with being an entrepreneur in anything, and especially in comedy. And it's like, you got to have that drive and passion. It's like, I did this today. Well, that was yesterday. Today's a new freaking day. Let's go get it.
And, see,
You know,
and that's what and I always think that too. Like a lot of people I've known that's been doing comedy for a while. Some, people maybe around the same amount of time I have, a little longer. Sometimes will dwell on the big experience that just happened. The bigger show. And my thing, like you, Andy, man, I'm all excited about it when it happens. But once it's done, that's behind me. I'm moving forward to the next thing. I'm not living in that, I did a sold out show at Punchline, or I did blah, 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 blah. That's great. But I'm now trying to move to the next mountain. I'm not living in the past on that last one.
And that's the whole thing about 2021. Even when I told you, right, and it's like when we had me and Rick been talking the last 2 days. We had meetings, we had power meetings, we had company meetings. I mean, we put a ton of hours into this thing just to make it what it is. Just like you do with Mullet Game and your shirts and everything. You got to get up and do it. This doesn't just magically turn on and it happens. We talk about scheduling people out. I was just on the phone all the way up till we got on there with another guest to come back on who was on before that people want to. It's constantly moving. But if you don't have that drive, even in the bad times, 2020 happened. It's in our 6. Get over it. It happened. If it didn't make you better, that's you, bro. And if it didn't make you better, stronger, then
let it go.
Then the dead will fall where they lie, and go find something else or figure something else out for yourself.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, if you're not happy doing what you're doing, period, in discussion, you're going to be either mediocre or fail at it. Or even if you do fail and you want to do it, it's your passion, you're going to fail. You're going to fail over and over and over. And at some point, you're going to have water. And it's like when Scott Mitchell said, you wasn't that far off. He's talking about my set Friday, Sunday night at the Punch.
Yeah, no, I gathered. I knew what he was talking about. He popped up right after. Yeah, no.
Yeah, he said I wasn't that far off. Well, thanks, God. I appreciate that.
You're going to think that you were bad because you're your own worst critic. Now, I've done that a million times. Inviting your friends to your show and then bombing, I've done it twice. It's the worst feeling in the world.
Hey,
you killed the first show before and the one after. That whether your friends aren't there. Well, you meet perfect strangers, but inviting your family and friends.
Don't you hate when you've invited family and friends out to a show and it's a big deal, and then you have like the shittiest set you've ever done in your life, and they're like, "So how long are you gonna?"
Yeah, they want to know what you're doing next.
No, it's not this bad. Yeah, it's like, look, pay more money to come see me again.
Yeah,
right.
I never want to see.
That's why I quit inviting them.
That's why you got to make sure you got other funny people on the show before and after.
Before and after.
I like that one guy that went on before you, Average Joey. Yeah. He was great. That was at least worth coming for. That Andy Gunnin guy's pretty good. How do they know you?
That's why I have no problem hosting. People's like, you want to host? Hell yeah, I do. I don't give a rat. I don't give a rat's. I can get up here and I can just freestyle and just kick it off.
I love riffing up there, man. I love going off the hip up there on stage. That's the funnest thing ever. I ran out of material, dude, in Bridgeport, my first ever headline show. It was a very important moment for me. And it was a big deal because they had actually brought people to the club, 144 people. It was a lot of people. And I was like, this is going to be fun. And then I got all freaked out back there in the green room because I tried to do it sober. And I always like to keep a little edge on me. You know what I'm saying? But I did it sober in any case, and I need to learn how to do it. But whenever I got up there, I ran out of material at about 30 minutes. Stone cold ran out. And I didn't run out. I just, what do I do? And so I had to start riffing for 15 minutes, dude. And it was the worst open mic at the end of an awesome show you'd ever seen in your life, dude. And the same dude did it from start to finish. Like I should have started the show with open mic and then got better, but I didn't. I just did my set. I wanted to kill. I did good, and I thought for sure I could wing this. This is what I do. I don't write shit down. You can wing it, Joe. And I started going, man, and I kept fucking it up at the end of the show. At the end of the show, everybody came out, and me and Jared were standing there. Shout out to Jared Waters. We were out there, and everybody was like coming up to him instead of me, and I was like, well, I knew what I earned. You know what I'm saying? I knew what I earned. And, and one lady was so audacious and bold. She said, "You need to take notes from him," pointing over at him. And I was like, "No shit, lady, freaking wit. Duh, I've been taking notes from before and after this. You idiot." Like, I told you I was new. Nah, but it was
It's like,
a learning. Like I really
thanks
wanted
for letting
more
me
after that. I've
know.
done a few
Building
shows
my
after.
self-esteem.
It was good. I was glad I could handle it. The average Joey would have left that situation with their tail tucked. I didn't know. I was like, you know what, I can get better, and I did. I did a few shows after that, but I love it. Don't you love doing comedy?
I love doing it. Yes, I do love
More
doing
than anything.
I love doing comedy. I've always loved being on stage and talking to people, even back when I was 15.
I like when you got them. When you got them. When you got them,
yeah.
man.
When you got them and everybody, and then when you pause, everybody pauses and you can hear a
best
pin drop.
time,
You're like,
everybody.
okay, now you get them. Now you
Yep.
got them. Now
Well,
you
I
can just
got
kind of little hammer.
tonight. I got a phone call today from a good friend of mine, Buddy. He runs a Hog and Ale smokehouse over in Marietta. I love this place. It's cool. And he called me up today and said, "Hey, the band, the Psycho DeVilles, is going to be playing tonight. Would you like to come down and do like a special set? You know, it's going to be a decent crowd." And I said, "Absolutely." I mean, that's going to be a great crowd. And I love just getting a phone call out of the blue going, "Hey, would you like to do a show?" Yes, I'm not doing anything else. I can come and do 15 minutes worth of time.
Weird. I mean, I love getting called to shows, but here's the weirdest thing. Right when I started doing comedy, a guy I kind of know at the bar I hang out, skinny dude, he's in his 40s, dreadlock. I mean, he looks like Rob Zombie. Looks like just an anorexic version of Rob Zombie. Nicest guy in the world. Always been nice, but he's an IT guy, come to find out. He was always on his computer at the bar, always nice. Hey man, what's going on? But just wrinkled white shirt, pants, just the skinniest Rob Zombie white dude, but nice with a smile. For years, and we've always like, hey man, what's going on? Da da da. And I knew he was an IT guy, which is always weird. But he looked at me one day and he goes, "Hey man, I hear you're doing comedy." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "So I don't know if you know this, but I'm in a band, a heavy metal band, kind of like Zombie and stuff, Rob Zombie stuff, but we do all these concerts all over." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "We've been toying with having a comic open for us." I went, "I don't know if that's a good idea. I know a lot of comics do it, but what does it pay?" And he starts telling me, and I go, "Well, let's see some of your shows." Start showing me his shows. He's on there, ripped, sweating, just going at. They're great. The crowd, every biker gang in America you can think about. I was like, "Bro, do you know my comedy? Have you been to one of my shows?" He's like, "No." It's like, I talk about being married. I talk about Girl Scouts and Nazis, and I don't think that's my stuff right now.
Yeah. It's not gonna
I don't want to walk out there to them going, "I want death metal." Hey man, did you hear about
Yeah.
No. Sometimes
you got to be willing to do this shit anywhere, though. You got to be willing to do this shit anywhere if you're and at the drop of the hat.
And at the drop of the hat. But I said, "You know what?" He goes, "What?" I go, "If you want me to do it, we'll do one and see how it goes. I'm willing to take a beer ball to the head to see how this works out."
Yeah. Get in there with it, baby. That's how I roll. Let's get in here and see what happens.
I was like, "Look, I'll do anything once."
One time. Might even do it twice.
Might even do it twice.
I just love the contrast of like, you're a comic. Nothing starts a metal show off better than a stand-up comic. I mean, I would do it. I'd do it in a minute.
Tattoo party. The tattoo.
Yeah.
But everybody likes cupcakes and everybody likes comedy. So you just got to find that merge.
You got to find the merge. And right now we need comedy more than ever. More than ever.
Man. There's a lot of people that are really good at it. They just don't know it too, huh?
Exactly. Well, we need comedy more than ever right now, I think, because it's just crazy. But at the same time, I don't like the fact that we can't, people are trying to say, "Oh, you can't say this on stage." I'm like, you can say whatever the hell you want. You know what? If you don't like it, get up and walk out the door. I mean,
you know what's right or wrong. If you're saying something that you know is wrong and you still say it, then that's shame on you.
Right.
It is shame on you if you know it in your heart and you fucking knew it. And there's no way to tell if somebody knew it, but you know in your heart, like you generally guess, like you can tell who's a piece of shit up there or not, man. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
I just hate
comedy is for fun.
No, it is
show and they're offended. It's like, why did you come to a comedy show if you're that easily offended? I just feel like you're already walking into a loaded gun because you know what comedians talk about. You know what's possibly on the playing field. I always think it's stupid when people have this sort of idea of what comedy is or should be, and then they want to explain it to you. Like, do you know who Bill Engvall is? It's like, of course I know who Bill Engvall is, but I also know who George Carlin is. And there's two different comedians, but they're both the same, line of work. One might piss you off. The other one might make you feel good about yourself, but still, you need to know this going into something. They're not all Bill Engvall shows.
Life is teaching you a lesson if you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, and I always compare it to music. It's like saying, well, I love music, but if you went to the show that Andy's going to open for, you might not be into that music
at the same time.
Right. So, but you don't need to go tell that band, you should. Have you ever heard of Garth Brooks? Now that's a musician, damn it.
But guess what? But he started in Nashville doing shows for like what we do for bars, for nobodies, and became great and amazing. And that's where you start, and that's where you cut your teeth. But I always start, and that's what I love. And a lot of times I like hosting because when I host, I go, and I know who's on the show. I know how to stack it up and be like, look, man, if you're easily offended, I'm just going to tell you, get the hell out because this comedy. You can leave all that out. And if you can't leave it outside, that's a you problem. But don't get up here and someone say something and you get all butt hurt because I'm going to tell you, get the hell on out right now. You got a chance. Yeah. You got a shot. Here you go.
Right now.
Get the hell on out.
I try to pick my material based on what like I talk about a lot. Like I got a general set that I use right now that's based on like sex as a single man in your 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And it hits hard with people because whether they're single or not, because they've either been single or they want to be single.
Right.
And then they just laugh their ass off. You don't know if that laugh's coming from, ha, I want to be single, or ha, I used to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I just said, but
right. No, exactly. You got to know your room.
It's not the set for everybody though. Like I've had people afterwards been like, bro, that's, you can't, like you were talking about. And I'm like, yeah, man, at the same time, whenever I get a heckler or somebody negative in the comments or something like that, it's an opportunity in any case you can go back and forth with them. You can totally disregard them, or you can actually find an opportunity right there to find another soul that's in distress. Because generally, if they leave a negative comment,
right,
they're in a weird spot in life anyways, and you can actually make the sale.
Right.
When they've got emotion, right? Like you sell with emotion. If they're just generally nothing.
That's what comedy is. That's what performing is, evoking emotion, whether good or bad. It's evoking an emotion in you somewhere of something.
I'll circle back around after I piss you off and give you a hug and sell you a t-shirt. I might even give it to you, dude, but I bet you we're still friends. And I love that about comedy.
Mm-hmm.
If but you gotta have
when I did that show in Tallahassee back in November, this guy comes up to me afterwards and he's like, man, you were really funny. It was worth the ticket price, but you got a little dark there, man. That kind of freaked me out. But he goes, but you
get a little dark.
You brought it back around, and he was cool about it. But and y'all know what bit I'm talking about because it's that roller coaster ride where when I'm setting it up, I know that there's going to either be a collective groan or it's going to be a big laugh. It's going to be one or two. But I just think it's funny for, when somebody does kind of come up and call you out on it a little bit. Vinnie Paul says, Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, Vinnie Paul. But I don't know. It's still just worth the whole price of admission to be up there to see what you're going to make them do. If you can make them laugh, it's a great feeling. There's nothing better in the world to be on that stage and having an audience in the palm of your hand and knowing that you might have a few of them jump off because you kind of upset them, but it's okay.
Yeah,
for sure. It definitely is. So tell us more, Joey. Get us into this Mullet Gang thing that this empire. What's your you're selling shirts like crazy, koozies, everything. You're doing new designs. You do them yourself. I see the heat press. You got the heat press back there that you have.
That's one thing right there. That's how I design it. So if in any case, so what we're doing now, because the obviously the demand is way up there. We're finding out which colors are which or whatever. But I got an order that we're about to put in. Was it the 7th? So we're about to put an order in like 3 days. After the next weekend passes, so whatever, 5 days, and then we're going to screen printers, right? And then there's Vinnie Paul right there. Speaking of the devil, I don't even know this guy, but I've seen him one time ever perform. It was at Rick's room. He like flew in from LA. Everybody's like, Vinny Paul's here. And I was like, well, I want to meet him. And they were like, you got to meet Vinny Paul. And I was like, well, where'd he go? And he was gone.
Very elusive.
I was like, he's gone. Where'd he go? But nevertheless, though, yeah, Mullet guy, rock on. Appreciate you, dude. So I designed this stuff here. And then I think that did Rick disappear on us here?
Yeah, he does that. He does that. We just keep going. He goes in and out.
That's fine. So I designed it here in any case. That's actually started making them, but and then I have to produce here, so I got a lot of stuff set up for me. But now that there's so much to where I'm doing like, you know, a certain amount a day, I got to start subbing out to the screen printers. So we're about to start screen printing a lot of our stuff. But I'll always design right here.
So what made you decide to go to screen printing, and how? I mean, because obviously you said it.
Demand. I mean, honestly, I like vinyl better personally. If you use really good vinyl, I use the good vinyl. Like you can go to Walmart and your hobby stores, and that's not a good vinyl in my opinion. I'm not here to give you my testimony to vinyls, but if you use the proper material, these shirts will last you a long time, just as long as a screen print shirt.
I can speak from experience. This
we have 5 crickets here, by the way.
Yeah, so the cricket perfect. It just what you do with them, you know what I mean? If you get the right material, the substrate that you're using, the cutter is not really going to matter. You can do a lot of. That's how I started was with the cricket, and the screen printing is just based off the demand and the demand alone. That's it. Just because there's so many people that want a certain shirt, and I'm like, damn, I don't have any more of those, or I don't have any more of this. It only costs you a few $100 or a few, $1,000 to get a bunch of stuff screen printed. You turn right around and sell it. The demand's there. When I go to the post office now, when I first started going there with like one little bin, they would be like, "Oh, you're doing really good," and stuff like that. And then when I started going in there with like, "I'll be right back," and do like 4 trips in, and you're like, and all this shit's going out. Then you're like, and you only post up like it gets to a point where I used to post every single thing. Now I can't even post a 10th of it because it takes too much time to even do that. And that's not a bragging thing because like I give a lot of stuff away to promote, to market my stuff right now. But a lot of people do buy it, and it's gotten fun in any case because people just generally I love that, and it's so simple. It's some old simple ass silhouette lettering that I paid money for, and then I got an LLC and a trademark on my main thing, and I just throw it out there. People are like, I like the colors, and they want to buy it. It's a fun time. It's probably the funnest thing to do on the internet.
Well, here it is, mulletgangclothing.com. Here you go.
Dude, I love how you did that. See, I got to learn how to do this. You're zooming through StreamYard like it ain't nothing.
Dude, I got this.
We've been doing it for a minute.
When I say I spend time, I spend 4 to 10 hours, up to a show like this, getting everything ready, lined up, and figuring. And StreamYard, I mean, dude, there's so much you can do. And anyways. Yeah, I'm just trying to be better at this one thing, and I've tried to figure out one thing I can just focus my energy on, like what me and Rick talked about in our little private meetings. Like, look, you're going to focus on this, I'm going to focus on this, so we can be better as a whole.
Dude, this is actually fun. So scroll up to the catalog part of it.
The catalog, up to the catalog. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, you press the catalog. I give and take a lot on here. Like if I come up with a design, because I come up with all these on my own and I try to name them, certain things or whatever. This is just basic Martha Stewart type stuff, but I try to design it with a little bit of swag to it. Like so if you go to the next page, there's 5 pages, so there's a lot of different stuff in there, and people buy the crap out of it, man.
Yeah, I've not explored your whole page, to be quite honest. I've seen your stuff on Facebook, and then I've gone on here, but I've not explored everything.
Yeah, go to that next page right there. I'm going to show you one.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm clicking on it. Oh, there it goes. It's taking a second to load.
So in any case, like little stupid things like 99 Problems ain't one. That's a couples thing right there. I put that up there the other day, and because I feel like it's not because I'm so cool is why they bought it. And it's not because of what it is why they bought it. I feel like because of what's around it and how we presented it and all that stuff in between. All the shirts that are on the website around it. You know what I mean? Like I constantly am throwing stuff up there. Like if you go to a couple more pages, like it actually gets better in my opinion. This is just me being conceited in any case, but like I put a lot of work into.
So the first couple of pages is kind of like your first out the gate, and a couple of them are mixed in. Like
yeah.
Gotcha.
So I just, people love the crap out of them.
So what's your top seller? so
My
far?
top seller is that one that's on the top right now. That's called Neon Leon. That's my absolute top seller as far as hoodies go. And then my top T-shirt, if you scroll down, the next one down is called Taste the Rainbow. I sell that one right there. And granted, they're on the 4th page. I probably sell more of those than I do anything.
Gotcha.
So much that I'm tired of taking pictures of them and putting them online. Because people are like, yeah, we've already seen that one.
What a problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, good problem to have. Hold on,
Yep.
let's see. Let's go.
But I like it though. That's just the end of it. That's pretty much the end of it. But I constantly keep adding stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't added yet because I'm just trying to see how it sells. I use my avenues, my social media, my personal page first, and I'll go to my other page, and then I'll see what works each place, and then I'll throw it up. If it like the full flavor, I have got a line of hoodies that I got right now. They're actually behind me. I stack them kind of like that T-shirt right there, but they're just a little bit different logo. But I basically use the same color as the substrate, and I didn't think at first that those would hit, but when I put them up, like here's the thing about selling, and you know this in sales, like throw it to the fucking wall, dude. If it sticks, leave it there. If it don't, take it off of there. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then that one has sold more than freaking. That's my 3rd runner up, and it's going to overtake anything that full flavor tee, but in the hoodie form. Yeah, people freaking love it, man. They just love it, dude. And I love giving it to them, man, because it's not about the money for me.
Either way, and even if they haven't seen your comedy, you're making a connection with folks through this to drive.
I lose a few here and there once they do see my comedy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I won't lie to you. There's been a off, but that's okay. That's okay. They weren't meant for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, we need to get Vinnie Paul the Neon Leon. That's his style, man. He's California dude. He's wild, man. I seen his hair and stuff when he came. He was dressed like a punk rocker kind of. Like he was.
He is the most original individual I've ever met in my life. Vinnie Paul is a force of nature. There's nobody ever. He's like.
I've heard a lot about him. Never met him.
He's great. I've known him for years. Me and him are real good friends.
Right here. If you can get me his size, if he texts you his size and stuff like that, I got obviously a box of them right here behind me. I'll just hook him up, man. With one of them.
There you go, Vinny. There you go, Vinny.
Yeah. Text me your address, Vinny, and we got you a shirt coming from Mullet Gang and Fat Thor. So
we'll send it right on to him. It'll be from Fat Thor specifically via Mullet Gang.
He said large. Large.
I got you, man. I got you.
You know what? I hate skinny bitches. I hate skinny bitches.
Gotta put a little meat on them bones. Vinny.
Yeah, because even when someone offers me a free shirt, it's like, you sure? Because it's XXL. I know it's $2 more, bitch.
Yeah. Dude, I sold the first ever 6X. I had to call and ask the people if they had it. And they
6X?
said, yeah. And what was bad about it is my machine only print, and I didn't care about it. The dude's obviously a giant. He's not even just that fat. He's just a big dude. And he like lifts weights and everything. He's just a big giant man. And freaking my machine only does like 16 by 16. So even the 16 by 16 was like, I blew it up the best I could on my cutter. I had to put it together. And press it in pieces. And it was the biggest thing.
Wow.
The only reason I didn't put it online is because I didn't know if it was like going to embarrass him or whatever, but it was literally, and I know he doesn't care now, but it was literally like a car cover, dude. It was huge. And I was honestly, I loved it. I was like, I wish more people that were 6X would buy my shit. Because you got
to get him to take a picture, take a selfie with it and say, look, dude,
you should have had 6XL on the bottom, 6 X's and then an L.
Dude, for sure. So he just has recently got it. So I maybe circle back around and get him to take a picture. But yeah, honestly, that's the biggest one I've ever done. 6X. So done a few 5X's, but generally have to bust them up a couple dollars when it goes up on the size.
Oh yeah. You have to, because it's material, it's everything. But
you made me think of that when I said I wasn't there to make fun of the guy or anything like that.
No. I love free t-shirt.
But it will also serve as a car cover for a Hyundai Sonata. Mullet Gang car covers.
Right. I need to get you guys a couple of t-shirts from Mullet Gang for having me on tonight. I'll make sure Rick gets them.
No problem. Yep. No problem. Yep. We will wear them gladly, brother. The
product I'm wearing right now is from Mullet Gang. And
that's your product. We just made it over at the house. Yeah.
That's right. I can assure you this is quality merchandise. I love this hoodie. I wear it all the time. There's probably people saying, when will you ever take that damn thing off? But
never.
It's the season it's cold. I love it. It's great.
I'm going to make you a white and green one, so you have to change them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make you a
I'm gonna
green
need-
one with white.
There you
Right.
go.
So, hey,
Guys,
what time is
I
your
hate to
show,
wrap
man?
this up, but I got to go do a show in Marietta.
Literally
So
the same thing. All right, cool.
Are you out? Are you out,
I
Rick?
got it's 9:02, so I gotta get down
He's
the road,
out.
man.
Me and
Hey,
Joey
bro,
and
be
I
good,
will
man.
we'll close the show out. We'll
All
close
right.
the
Have a
show
good,
out.
safe trip. Kill it,
Have a
man.
good show.
Thanks so much, guys. Joey, thanks for coming on.
See you,
And I'll
bro.
be in touch with Vinny's address.
Yep. Let
Thanks
me
for
get an
everybody
address,
watching.
and then I'll see you. And I'll, matter of fact, I'll when you get over here, I'll get you all that stuff, and then you just take it and drop it off the post office for me and everything, man. Get you and
I
Randy
know the
shirt.
drill.
Yeah,
I know
man.
the
Thanks,
drill.
bro.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night. Thanks
See
so
you,
much.
Have a good night, Rick. Good luck, bro.
All right.
See you, man.
See you,
Thank
brother.
you.
Bye. Well, he's off to do a show, but no, dude, it was great having you on, man. I love the fact that you were able to figure something out. I mean, through comedy, from comedy, that was a different avenue than you never thought.
Yeah, definitely is, man. Honestly, you believe in God at all or anything like that? Is that a weird question to ask you right now?
Of course, no,
so
it's not a weird question.
I didn't for the longest part of my life. And I'm not like a religious dude. Like, I understand my piece of time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't vibe with that, and a lot of people do. So I do, and that's cool, whatever. But I personally think that the time part of it's everything. And I feel like that, yeah, I have made my way. I think I just kept my eyes open to the opportunities, but I also pray a lot now, and I used to not do that, and I hate to close it out like that or whatever. But when I pray, I actually just ask for the eyes to see and the ears to hear it. I had never asked for anything material, and then I typically get the opportunities, and then that's the way it comes. It's not me just hard-nosed down creating them for myself or anything. I've just been very fortunate and blessed, I guess you could say, if you believe in that stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I believe 100%. And even if you don't believe in a single God or anything, I believe that most people can agree that karma is everything. That putting back
the universe, there's a wave coming.
Yeah. Anything you positive you put out there and you put yourself second versus it will come back to you.
Put out good, and good will come back to you, man.
Yeah, it will. I mean, and it doesn't matter, what you do. It's a matter of what you're putting forward, and that's what comedy is about: putting people forward and making people laugh and saying the things out loud that we think about that we know are funny, that to poke fun. Because end of the day, we're not going to get through this alive. I mean, we all know that, unfortunately, and we've got to have as much fun as we can. We've got to laugh and smile as much as we can. It's taken me a long time to figure that out and learn that. And I've learned that a lot here recently, especially I lost a buddy of mine on December the 30th. Not to try to steer us another point, but he, unfortunately died. He did get COVID. He did die, but it was a complication of a couple things that collided with that. He was 50. He's a good friend of mine. He actually helped me. I produced my first show at his golf club that I was a member of. And he said, when I started doing comedy, he's like, I need you to produce a comedy show. And I said, okay, well, I just started doing comedy. Can we slow down? He's like, no, I want you to do it at my golf course, at the golf course. He goes, we'll do it. We did it. We had over 90 people. It's a great show. He was a huge supporter of me. Still is. I know he is. And, unfortunately he left, but he was one of these guys that just always put good out there. When I say good, he was always positive. And no matter how negative or no matter what was going on, you'd say, hey man, I'm just not doing good and this and that. And he'd go, well, what are you going to do? And and if you didn't have an answer, he goes, well, fuck it, have a beer. You don't know. Have a beer. He goes, but then you go, well, I'm going to probably do this. He goes, well, then why are we talking about it? Have a beer. I'm like, man. And I just start laughing. I'm like, holy, it's just that simple.
Yeah, man. Life is simple, man. As simple as you want it to be, man. It's hard as you want it to be too, man. It's freaking. I've screwed up so much stuff. Have you ever screwed up so much stuff? And I've burnt so many bridges, and I can boldly talk about it now because I purposely try not to do this because I'm so in the open now that I don't want anybody to call me out on any quote unquote BS. But I've made, I have lied to people to get further on certain things in my life, whether it be a kid or a teenager to my Army career, or as an adult, like a cop or a boss or my ex-wife or whatever. And you create these little things, but basically they're all little tick marks that go against your karma, but you do have to even out the wash there sooner or later in your life if you do want good to come back to you. people see good things happen to bad people because that's a thing that people talk about, but that's not really what happened when you saw that. They may have whatever you saw as good come to them, but it may not have came to them as good. And you got to make sure that at some point in your life, because there's got to be somebody out there that's like, fuck this dude, Joey. And I know that, but I never, but that's on them. I always tried to make a wrong right. Yeah, I always tried to make a wrong right and move forward and then just keep. It's like a prisoner coming out of prison who's saying they've had enough, and then they actually do good, and they turn around and start a nonprofit, and they go for 30 years until they die, and then that's their turning point in their life. But that's not me in any case, but the same principles. You got to put the good out there. You have to put the good out there.
And we're not perfect. We're not perfect.
Nobody is, man.
Not one person in this world is perfect. I don't care who you are, who you think you are. You're not perfect. But anyways, we're going to end the show now, I think. And anything else you got? No, you're great. No, we could go for you and I could probably go to an hour. I think, I need to figure out,
pick your brain for this.
We'll pick. You got that figured out. Yeah, when I end the broadcast after we go live, you and I can talk in the back room, go through things. But hey, you got any shows or just plug the Mullet Gang? What you got?
I got shows coming up, but I don't want to plug them because I'm just like anybody else right now. We're iffy and we don't know if they're going to get canceled because I'd hate to tell somebody to go buy tickets. But in any case, I do have my page. I'll tell you, if you follow comedy and you want to follow my page, it's at Average Joey on Facebook. Now, don't go to my page. Boldly tell anybody and everybody this. I do a lot of marijuana jokes. I'm really pro marijuana for PTSD, totally different subject for veterans.
Yep.
I talk freely. I'm a single 37-year-old male who's been divorced, and I kind of throw a lot of the things in there in my comedy, and it's a trash in any case. As far as somebody who's having a bad day is not going to get something from it, but if you stumble across it and you want to go check it out, it's probably funny if you're in a good mood. I try to have a good time there. It's at Average Joey. At Instagram, it's at Grunt Life. My website is mulletgang.com, and that's where I sell my merch. And then I also have, my podcast as well. We do a mental health podcast. It's mainly driven around mental health. It's called The Burn Barrel. We do the same exact thing you do, is just talk to people and have a good time and just keep the flow going, man, so to speak, dude. That's my plugs right now. I don't have anything special going on other than just a Facebook and the website right now. I'm just
that's fine. I mean, a lot of people don't have a lot of things going on. I mean, you've got enough going on that. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about your podcast, but we'll get back to that. We'll bring you back. You're going to come back, I know. But look at his site. Here it is. One last time, Mullet Gang Clothing. Look at that, man! You're just like that. You like that? Look.
I do like that, dude. I actually enjoy that quite well. I actually enjoy that quite well, and I got to figure out how to do that, man. I can't, because when I look at mine, I'm like, what do I do now? Nothing. I don't know what to do.
The thing about it is, you've got to train yourself when people are talking, and that you're constantly queuing up. I mean, I'm a producer. I'm here hosting.
Right.
You're doing the whole thing. I'm looking over here. I'm sharing, dude. There's about 5-10 different things, and then I'm sitting here drinking, and I'm like, okay, I gotta focus.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about
you got a show coming up. I want to come see one of your shows. When you got a show coming up?
We've got shows coming up. Oh, actually, I've got a show coming up at Old Dining's Inn on the 21st of January. Me and Rick are back there again. We did a show there a couple months back, and they've asked us to come back. Rick's going to be kind of headlining, featuring that show. I'll be on there. And then Rick and I are going to Tallahassee that Saturday to do a show. Nobody wants to drive to Tallahassee. From Georgia.
I got some good friends in Tallahassee, man. The good thing about having a Facebook, dude, is you know people everywhere. I got some good. I went down there in Tallahassee, man. I can probably send some people your way, dude. Tallahassee's a good time. I'm definitely going to try to come on the 21st, but I'm going to 100% get you the t-shirts. What color do you prefer?
I don't have a specific color. I like blue, gray, green. I mean, it's whatever. You don't have to send me anything, but hey, if you want double XL,
you let me on.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to have you. I'm glad that we actually got to talk and meet, because seeing your stuff, and then Rick was always, talking about you, and I kind of followed your stuff, and then knowing that you were, with Rocky and Dustin, and I was like, okay. And it just it all trickles. It's comedy universe. It just, we all end up trickling towards each other.
I just got lucky in that situation, man. Like I said, I just got lucky to be there, dude. And I'm kind of here now, so it's cool. I'm just trying to embrace it the best I can, dude. I appreciate you talking to me.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to have you on. Hey, folks, go check him out. We're going to close the show, and then you and I will talk on the back end. Oh, Vinny Paul got a daggum paragraph. What do you got? Oh, hashtag Mullet.
Shout out. Can't wait to Georgia guys soon. If you make it out to LA, I'll always clap for you.
Appreciate it, Vinny. One of our biggest fans and contributors as a friend and comic, Vinny Paul from LA. Cheers, brother. Hey, thank you all for watching here. Don't forget to check out our sponsors. Give them some love at the CBD Joint Collective.com for all your CBD. You can get up to 10% off online if you order online, so you don't have to be in the state of Georgia. But if you are in the state of Georgia and you do have a house, well, guess what? It's rain season. If you got a roof or you got a leak in your roof, call Venture Roofing at 678-656-7482. Jason and them will take care of you. Tell them I'm still going to let them honor the coupons. Just tell them
get the coupon.
Yeah, up to $1,000 off. He doesn't know this, but he's giving up to $1,000 off. Thanks, Andy. And he just signed up for
out of the budget.
months.
He cost us $5,000.
He signed the advertising contract this morning for 2 more months. I'm like, I'm free. I can do what I want. He's got to honor it, not me.
Oh God, that's funny, man.
Anyways,
cool, dude.
Yeah, man. We'll see everyone later. Hold on, let me find my outro. We'll see you guys. Be good.